Hi, I'm Marlo from Wild Food UK, out foraging again. It's the 20th of November today and I'm in some mixed coniferous woodland in Herefordshire, and at this time of year there's a couple of mushrooms we go for in this kind of woodland. Primarily the winter chanterelle, that will go through December and into January. We find hedgehog fungus in this kind of woodland this time of year, and down here we've got the third really good edible that I find this time of year in late autumn in coniferous woodland. You will find it in broadleaf woodland as well, or mixed woodland, but it certainly prefers coniferous and particularly spruce trees. What you've got there are 4 Imleria badias, or formerly Boletus badius, the Bay Bolete, which is a highly regarded edible. So let's run through from this little one the key identifying features. It's always got a brown cap. Now that brown cap will become quite shiny when it's wet and almost a little bit slimy. Not quite as slimy as your suillus mushrooms, but it certainly can get a little bit slimy, and as the rains started I'm beginning to feel that there. Now you can see here the stem is a kind of almost orangey brown, and the pores are kind of, to my colour-blind eyes, almost slightly greenish. Now, watch what happens when I press those pores. So I'll just press them there, and as you can see, over a reasonably short space of time, they start to turn almost turquoise blue. So this is a mushroom that's a good edible, and therefore it negates the no red, no blue rule. There are plenty of good edible Boletus mushrooms that have red and blue, red on the outside and blue on the flesh when you cut them in half. But those simple rules, no red, no blue, if you've got sponge under the cap, those simple rules will keep you safe. They'll keep you away from the Rubroboletus section, which is the dangerous section in the UK. This is quite a small one, baby, but it's matured. Here we go, we've got a slightly bigger and better one, but this one's a bit more slug munched, and you can see that turquoise blue effect happening already just because it's been damaged by some of the local native wildlife. This one here has a nice stout stem, and you can see what almost looks like reticulation on the stem, kind of patterning. And again, if I press those pores on this older one, we'll see that turquoise effect starting to happen. There you go. And this one here, I think, was the best of the lot. A little bit of insect damage underneath, but in reasonably good condition anyway. Now again, I'll press those pores and show you what happens. There, that's the best of the turquoise effects that we've seen. Now these have been a little bit slug eaten, but with the Bay Boletus, the mushroom itself has some sort of mild insecticide. So even though when they're a little bit slug eaten, you tend to find no maggot damage, or normally very little maggot damage in comparison to your other Boletus mushrooms, or Boletale mushrooms. Now here, the Imleria badia. This is a mushroom that all foragers will tell you is pretty much as good as the famous penny bun, the porcini, the cep, the king bolete, whatever you want to call it. From a forager's point of view, this mushroom is just as tasty. It never gets quite as big. They get twice the size of these ones that you see here, but they'll never get to the massive size of a porcini mushroom. That doesn't matter though, because they tend to grow in reasonably large numbers, not all in one place, but when you find a spot like around this stump here, which is exactly the sort of place that I tend to find my Bay Boletus. If you find some, you'll find them dotted around all over the same woodland, so you can quite quickly and quite easily pick a nice little bag full. They are considered pretty much just as good as the porcini or as the penny bun, I did hear recently that there was a bag of dried porcinis analysed, and it turned out that in that bag of dried porcinis or penny buns there were no Boletus edulis whatsoever. There were only Bay Boletus and other members of the edulis clade, so the reticulatus, the summer sep, or the dark sep, or the pine sep, because culinarily these are just as lovely as your penny bun. So slice them and dry them is a good thing to do, because with all those boletes the flavour is enhanced by drying. Use them fresh certainly, because they're a lovely mushroom, and look out for them in amongst mossy pine woodland. Really is the best place to look for your Bay Boletus. And in late autumn, like I said, it's the 20th of November now. There's not many Boletus left. The penny buns have pretty much gone to bed for the year because they don't like it too cold. The smaller members of the Boletus group can last a little bit longer. So I did do a video on the peppery bolete a couple of years ago. That's one that you can find into November and sometimes into December. This one is another one of those. You can find it late in the season. I don't know why it's taken me this long to do a video on the Bay Boletus, because it's one of my favourite mushrooms, but today's a good day and I'm happy to share. So here you go. Should we have a nice dinner made of these later on, Kerry?
That sounds good.
Brilliant. If you want to find out more, go to wildfooduk.com.